cool.
There you go.
What is that? Like is that like a Pez dispenser?
It's got candy. It's got candy on it, and it, you know, I mean, it's just a fun little. No, I'm just joking. That's really for my son.
Yeah, is that from Halloween or something like that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's just a toy I bought for him. But
Hey, Cameron, I always say the North did not conquer the South. Carrier air conditioning conquered the South.
What was that? What conquered the South?
Air conditioning.
Oh, air conditioning. Oh, yeah. And the Middle East.
Yes.
Yeah. There wouldn't be any civilization in the desert if there was no AC, that's for sure.
Yep.
No, you're right on. AC is a big deal. Big deal. Yeah. How you doing, Ken?
Good.
All right.
Too bad they didn't have air conditioning like on the stagecoaches. That would have been.
They did.
They would have. Yeah, the West would have been conquered much faster. Yeah.
They did. It was 4 horsepower, 6 horsepower air conditioning.
Yes. Just don't sit
Wrong
behind
kind of air, though.
Don't don't be behind the horse while he's
the wind, the force of the wind doesn't head your way. You know.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's right.
I suppose.
Gosh, that's hilarious.
I suppose.
My parents' car, first car they had when I was growing up, had air conditioning. It was 4 windows and however fast dad or mom wanted to drive.
Yeah, I remember that too. You couldn't afford air conditioning in cars in the 60s.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Yeah, they just had those slider fans. Remember those big slider bars? You'd switch and you'd go full fan, and that would be the best you could do from outside air. I like the title, Arc Minutes with Annie. That's awesome.
Arc Minutes with Annie. That's right.
Yeah, that's really cool. Good catchy. Good stuff.
Uh-huh.
And then Pekka's Parsec, stuff like that. I love that.
Pekka's Parsec. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Well, we have to have nicknames for everybody now. I'm gonna start figuring them out too.
Let's see here. I'm just thinking here.
Yep. Unless you already have a nickname, you can tell me what it is. Otherwise, I'm making it up for you.
So I have Camstronomy, so that's okay. They're trying to think of something for Kent. Let's see here. Kent's Corner, or
Kent's. Yeah, it could be Kent's Cosmos, but
that's good. Kent's Cosmos.
It'd be fun if we had something we could really tease him with, but haven't figured that out yet.
No.
He's too nice of a guy.
Yeah, that's true.
Don't tell anyone.
Which is all the more reason we should have a really embarrassing nickname.
Yeah, you can take it.
It's totally a secret. Totally a secret.
Yeah. So did you guys enjoy, well, Kent and Annie weren't at Global Star Party last night, but I know you were, Cameron. You were there to the bitter end.
Yes.
Like always.
Like always, yeah.
Like always. Yeah, it was fun. It was good.
That was really cool.
It was good.
And then, and that was fun on the kind of the after party as well, kind of talking with Maxie and Cesar and doing a little bit of live imaging and talking about drinking and stuff like that. I know that was cool.
Talking about drinking. Yeah, we were talking about drinking culture in Argentina.
Yeah.
Oh.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. They're a wild bunch. They're very friendly, very celebratory people.
Yes.
Okay. Awesome.
Venus, a lost frontier. Humanity hasn't visited the atmosphere of Earth's sister planet in over 40 years. Da Vinci is ready to take us back to Venus. Its massive atmosphere holds the clues to how our neighboring planet went from an ocean world to the runaway greenhouse that it is today. Da Vinci carries a descent probe designed to study the Venus atmosphere from within and from top to bottom, as well as a descent camera that will capture images of the enigmatic mountains of Alpha Regio. In this massive atmosphere is a chemical laboratory just waiting to be discovered. The spherical probe protects the suite of state-of-the-art instruments from extreme temperatures, high pressures, and acidic clouds. The probe will sniff the atmosphere throughout its descent, and the analytical instruments will work together to definitively measure the composition of Venus's atmosphere. The camera peers down through a small viewing port, and once the probe passes below the cloud deck, it will start to collect a series of three-dimensional views that will also help us understand whether the rocks of Alpha Regio reveal a story of an ancient continent shaped by water. The Da Vinci probe will take the first ever close-up images of rugged mountains on Venus that may preserve an earlier time. These discoveries will be woven together to help the science community answer big questions about Venus's past oceans, the possibility of ongoing volcanic activity, and why Venus is so different from Earth. This incredible scientific data will be sent back to Earth by communication with the Da Vinci Relay spacecraft above. And the science community will interpret these results for years to come to understand better how habitability evolved on Venus, how climate change may play out on our home planet, and how best to search for habitable planets among the billions of exoplanets throughout the universe.
Well, hello everybody. This is Scott Roberts with Explore Scientific and the Explore Alliance, and today is, of course, Annie with us with the Explore Alliance, Kent Marts, who's going to give us 47th presentation of FirstLight Chronicles, and Cameron Gillis, who will give us episode 11 of Camstronomy. So we as most Wednesdays, we're still kind of a little hungover from being up late into the night with the Global Star Party, but we had a great time, and lots of great conversation and nice presentations. It was great to have people come back to Global Star Party that had been away for a while. That would have included Rodrigo Zaleta, who has been taking time off away from Global Star Party to become a research astronomer. So he's a guy that I think he's a geologist by training. He goes on and opens up a telescope shop in La Serena, Chile, and to satisfy the amateur astronomy community there. He does a lot of outreach, works with clubs, works with schools, and all the rest of it. And he decides to bite the bullet and become a research astronomer. So right now he's working at Paranal Observatory, which is an extremely dark, beautiful observatory complex up there. And he was showing us some of the work that they're doing and their surveys. We also had David Eicher come back after being gone for a few weeks. Libby and the Stars, she was back after being gone from Space Camp. So we got a nice dose of Space Camp afterwards. It was very cool. Deepti Gautam was there. We had, of course, Cameron was on with me, as I mentioned earlier. But we had Maxi Falaris and Cesar Brolo. And so it's nice to have like this little contingent of South American astronomers. But overall, really great Global Star Party. I am going to turn this over to Annie. Annie, we should talk about what's happening in the Explore Alliance today.
Well, a lot is happening. We are almost done taking care of those stickers so we can start getting those certificates out. I think there's one more sheet left. I think is
what does a sticker look like?
Got
one?
let me see if I can show it to you. I don't know.
These are not easy stickers to make, folks. I mean, you would think, oh, what goes into a sticker?
I don't know. It's not in focus, but I don't know if you
Not
can
in
see.
focus. Okay, so we have a machine here, okay, that looks like a plotter, okay, but it's drawing an X-Acto razor blade knife over label material, which is really designed to be used indoors and outdoors. Yeah. But it's drawing out each little letter and all the rest of it. And so instead of just giving our members something that they have to go and pick out all the hollow points of the letters and all the rest of it, we're doing it. Okay.
Yes.
So
yes. We have our wonderful customer service is sacrificing their fingers and their time for our members, and so we're very, very, very thankful for that. But yeah, so they come in big sheets, and then one of us sits down at a desk and spends time working on those. So just whenever you get it, just know
they're not like cursing under their breath as they
no.
Oh, yes, they are. Oh,
Kent, you're not supposed to tell that stuff.
Yeah, why can't Scott figure out an easier sticker?
They speak French most times. I think it's what they're French.
That's funny.
That's what they're speaking.
So, well, that's cool.
But yeah, they anyway. So they've been working on that, and so we're almost done. I think one of our CSRs, he told me that we had one more sheet left, and so they got to go back out to the machine. They'll lay the reason this one looks muted, because you can't really see it. Yeah. It the reason it's not in focus is because this has a layer over it. And so what you'll do is you'll peel it off, and it's got a sticky back. And so then it sticks correctly on whatever you're sticking it on. So the words aren't backwards and things like that. So, and then it's easily removable. So you don't, if you decide that you don't want it on that item anymore, then you can take it off. Unfortunately, if you do take it off, most likely we'll rip it. So
that's right. So wherever you put it on, it's there to stay. So
but
I have two of them on my truck. So.
Yeah. So but it's the way it's made is it won't damage whatever you've stuck it to. So that's the whole reason behind that. But yeah, so we have our CSRs have been so wonderful and gracious and have started working on that for us. And so I've printed, I've almost gone, I'm probably, I don't know, probably 2/3 the way through getting our platinum members certificates ready to go out the door. And so Harold Locke, I'm gonna send you yours. I promise it's coming.
Right. Harold needs his package.
Yes.
That's right.
And so it's such a great guy.
And we want him to have it anyways. That's right.
So and then I wanted to announce the the astrophotography contest. We only have 9 people that have entered. Really? Yes.
Wow. Odds of winning are pretty good.
Yeah. So that runs through August 15th. So I thought about showing our audience how to get to that, so you can submit something. So let me do this real fast.
Yeah. Show them how it's done.
So this is our contest page, but if you actually go to our website.
Here, I'm going to put the link right in chat. Okay.
Yeah. So if you go to our website, of course, it's going to look like this, and it's got all this wonderful content. So while you're on there, why don't you check stuff out too while you're there? So,
before we get too far into this, there's already people wanting to know, how do they get this sticker?
It's going to come with your certificate. I promise.
So all members are getting a
all members are getting
certificate, a sticker, they're onboarding.
If you have updated your information, if your address is correct and stuff like that.
Oh yeah. If you've not given us your address, we can't give you a sticker, right?
So
Conrad Sanders asked, how do we get that sticker? I just looked in the database, and I don't see that he's a member of the Explore Alliance.
Yeah, you have to be an Explore Alliance member.
To join.
Yep, you have to join.
So here we go, Conrad. I'll give you the link.
Yeah. So
you can join for free if you want. Okay.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
If you want to have all the premium benefits of the membership, and that's kind of explained on the page. That cost $100, but we give the $100 back to you in a gift certificate. So
that's a secret.
If you're buying something from us that costs more than $100, you should just go ahead and say, hey, give me the membership. I'll buy the eyepiece or whatever it is. Apply that $100, back on the eyepiece, and then you just pay the remainder, and then you get all the benefits.
So,
you're wanting to say something, Kent. What did you want
so
to say?
Scott, Conrad says, how do you join? Show him where to join real quick.
Here.
We're doing that right now.
I can. Okay, let me show that real fast. Okay.
Scott's got it. Scott's got it up on the screen.
No. That's my screen.
Oh, that's your screen.
She's in control of this, Kent. Don't forget it.
No, I'm not actually. I'm not driving this train right now. But anyways,
we're driving this train right now.
So, okay. So let's do membership first. Okay. So you go on our go on our website. You'll hover over to Explore Alliance. You'll slide over here. It says Explore Alliance memberships. You'll click that. You'll enter all your information. It gives you details of what comes with Platinum and Legacy. You'll scroll down, enter all this information, name, address, email, birthday. How do you like to explore? What's the things what your interests are? And then you'll click whichever one you want. This goes into a database that I look at every day. And then once I see that you have purchased either the yearly membership or this one or the legacy one, we'll determine whether or not I send you that $100 gift card. The benefits of Platinum is that you get an extended care, no fault coverage. It is not a warranty. It is a benefit to our members, just to help with any of your Explore Scientific products and some other things like Alpin and Bresser and things like that. So
anything that we sell.
Yeah. So it'll help. It'll just help with that. You're able to enter contests. So let me show you, since that's what I was really originally going to show whenever we started decided derailing. So you have to be a member to enter contests. So you go Explore Alliance. And we actually are revamping this page. It's going to be like a hub. So right now we have each contest listed. These are older ones, and it shows their winners that shows their pictures and stuff that they did. But right now we have the Galaxy astrophotography contest going on. It goes through August 15th.
So let's be clear. Let's be clear about what kind of image you can submit when we say Galaxy photo contest. First off, it does not have to be an Explore Scientific telescope or any accessory, for you to submit photos for this, They don't have to be recent photos. They could be photos you took 2 years ago, as long as it's a Galaxy, and it doesn't matter which camera you used either. So we're just looking for what you guys think are the best photographs of galaxies that you have. And so that's really what it's all about.
So the Milky Way is a galaxy, right?
Yes.
Milky Way is a big galaxy.
So
kind of big.
So you could have a picture of the Milky Way rising in the summertime,
right?
And that'll qualify as a galaxy photograph. So it doesn't just have to be a DSO. It can be, a wide field galaxy called the Milky Way.
In which we're about to have it. We're about to have a new moon, so it's a really good time to take that photo.
Good time. That's right.
So, but you have to be a member of some legacy. Doesn't matter legacy or platinum, but you have to be a member to be able to enter our contests. And so it shows what you win. We have not added it, but we have a new category called never before entered. So it's somebody that has never entered a contest with us. And so we'll go through that and decide, the best of those. We need to figure out a prize. Tyler and I haven't talked about that very much lately. So
what about a brand new 2021 Ford F-150 and a 27-foot Caravelle Airstream?
Are you going to give that away? Are you going to give that away, Scott?
I think
No,
Robert,
I just said, what if it was?
yeah.
No, you better be careful.
I want to be clear. It's not.
Sorry, folks, that's not it.
It's not.
It's not.
It's not even April, and I'm trying to make an April Fool's joke here.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
You're behind. Okay.
Hey, you know, you see stuff like that on OMAs. I actually signed up to fly on Virgin Galactic, so we'll see. We'll see if I win.
We'll see if you win.
Yeah.
Okay. So anyway, so that's one of the benefits. The other benefits are like to our events. You get VIP access to events, which we have quite a few coming up. So we have Scott and I sat down. And we have quite a few things coming up this next year. Mount Wilson Observatory, the Winter Star Party, the Nebraska Star Parties next year. We do Stars and Sauce. We have Arizona Dark Skies. And so most of those events, some of them, not every single one of them, but our Explore Alliance members will get a discount for coming purchasing whatever. But
we also, at these events, we typically give a special gift to every Explore Alliance member that shows up at one of these events.
Yep.
And then we have additional door prizes where we let Explore Alliance members draw tickets, but you have to be an Explore Alliance member. You can't just be a regular guy.
And, and you have the opportunity. Usually, somebody will be there to help you with your membership if you want to join.
You can join on the spot.
Yeah. So we'll have that option as well. So, and then you also get discounts on products, specials, stuff that's not on the website. So like right now we have the Bino viewers. They run about $6.99, I think. And they have 2 eyepieces that come with them, of course, because they're Bino viewers. I mean, you got to have 2 eyepieces, but for EA members, they're $4.99 right now, and you can pre-order those. If you decide to join, you could take that $100 gift card and apply it to that Bino viewer. So, and then we also have that 3D etched glass, which right now we only have 6 left. So we're starting to,
Yeah, this is how beautiful it is. This is one off of my desk. It's got, it is from the CAD drawing, okay, is exactly to scale of the ED-152 with an eyepiece, finder scope with set screws, and being that it's kind of laser etched and everything, you can see into it and you can see the objective lenses and all of that stuff. It's pretty cool,
Yeah.
So
we have a lot
going over it.
So we have a lot going on, and so I'm pretty busy trying to keep up with everything. And so I was fortunate enough yesterday, after I choked to death on live broadcast, I told everybody.
You did.
I did
almost.
I'm still alive today. So,
you are.
But I told everybody yesterday, if with the new system, I'm going to start sending out, because we have some legacy members we have some people that signed up for legacy that are actually platinum members or ambassadors. So I'm going to start sending links to them so they can get that platinum membership that they actually have. So if you go into your membership and there's a glitch at all, please let us know, because we're trying to work out the kinks of our new system, and we want to know those issues. And so I've already had somebody email me yesterday. So you are not bothering me if you email me and tell me there's an issue. That's what I'm here for. So and you can email Explore Alliance at explorescientific.com, tell me, or you can email me at Annie@explorescientific.com, and I'll try to take care of that issue as quickly as I can, or let you know what's going on with it. So, or if you just want to check on your membership, check on your status of your membership, where you're at, what's going on with it, just definitely email me, and I'll look it up for you and let you know. So I would say call, yeah, it's hard to get through.
Just call. So what if they catch you in a bad mood? What happens?
Am I ever in a bad mood?
I've never seen you in one.
Mm.
No growling, no snarling, nothing.
I don't think I'm. I don't think I'm.
I don't think
have you seen Ken? Have you seen me in a bad mood?
Rest assured, if you call Annie,
only
it's going to be a good. It's going to be a good day. That's right.
Only to Tyler.
Only at
Tyler.
I'm only in a bad mood at Tyler.
Yes.
No,
Yeah.
no. I used to.
So I got one of the nicest phone calls today. This guy, his name is Jeff Day, I believe is his name, and he has an ED-152, and he talked to you, Annie, and he said, now this guy is in the Navy. He does some special stuff for the Navy, and he said, I want to tell you, he says, you guys have the greatest staff, you know, and he said, you know, I never expected this level of care and service and all. And he's going on, and I'm like, wow, okay, can I like record this? No, but it was very nice. It was very nice, and it was very complimentary towards you, Annie. So, and the rest of the staff too, is naming people by name.
Yeah.
So, in fact, there's a couple of things we're going to want to look for him because he needs a couple of little parts.
Okay. Yeah. Let me know.
Okay.
Let me know, and I'll get it taken care of. But yeah. That's, you know, I mean,
He's a platinum member, by the way.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So I think I remember talking to him. I think I remember talking to him yesterday. I think it was, or the day before. But anyway, my days run together. But yeah, if you, I try not to ever grumble or complain. I always try to, you know, my goal is to help whoever it is out, because I understand. Like if I was on the other end, like I understand, and I want to try to help and be empathetic to that, and that's my goal, is to make people happy.
Well, there you go. That's awesome.
I have a shout out for Annie, because actually, Annie, the first time I met you, I think, was you helped me with my Explorer Alliance Platinum. I don't know if you remember, but I was ordering the 26 millimeter ED, the 26 62 degree eyepiece, and I had just bought it, and then I was like, oh, I'd like to apply the $100 towards that purchase, and then you helped me get that all squared away. So thank you so much for that. So you know, there's an example that I want to share with everyone, that it's awesome. It's a really great deal, and I think and of course, Annie, you did a great job with getting me all squared away. So thank you.
Thank you very much, Cameron. I'm sorry I don't remember that, but
of course it's okay.
Every time Annie goes to sleep, it's like poof, okay? And she starts a new day, you know?
Yeah, it really is. Every time I lay down, I'm like, oh, wait, what day is it? Okay, we're going still again. But yeah, no,
we love to have Annie around. She's awesome, and she's working very hard to keep Explorer Alliance members informed and squared away, and she gets up here with us live every day. So, you know, you'll be always informed about what's going on. A little bit different from other astronomy clubs where, you know, you join and maybe once a month you get together, you know, and a lot of times it's not, you know, you have to go somewhere, okay, to do that. And so that sometimes keeps activity down in some astronomy clubs, I believe. But we got a lot of cool stuff coming up. There is a gentleman who's wishing that we will be, I think, at the Nebraska Star Party this year. We are not going to be there. We have door prizes that you can win there, but we do have it on the roster for going next year. The only thing I think that we are doing this year so far, there is a 2-day event in the Ozarks called Stars and Sauce, and that's up by Eureka Springs. And if you've never been to Eureka Springs, it's a very cool place. It's a kind of an artist colony. You know, I think there's retired actors that live up there. Very beautiful. Looks like an old San Francisco, you know, piece of old San Francisco stuck up there in the mountains. It's really, really beautiful. A lot of fun to go to and have dinner and just hang out. But that's where this music festival is going to be, September 10th and 11th. It's called Stars and Sauce. If you want to learn more about it, you can just email Annie. We're not selling tickets to it. This is actually being handled by a professional concert promoter. They've asked us to sponsor the event with telescopes and and people. So we're going to have a couple of our representatives there. We'll have some telescopes there. And Kent, you went last year, is that right?
Yes, sir. It was in October last year, and we discussed some protocols. Tyler and I did. And we ended up.
Yeah. How did you guys safely do this? Because I was worried about that.
Yeah. So
still am, so.
Well, yeah, we all are, especially with COVID, numbers higher than they were at the peak last year. So that's, somewhat scary. But so we asked people to stay in their attending units or family units, if you will, and, good separation. We were in a big open field away from the main stage. And there was about, I think, 500 to 600 people there. And most of them came up over a 2-night period. And so we had bottle of alcohol and alcohol wipes. And as soon as that family unit got through using the telescope, we wiped down the eyepiece. Now, we weren't letting them refocus.
That's not to say you were wiped out by alcohol, right?
We could have been wiped out by many substances.
Oh, yeah, it was a music festival.
It's a music festival. So we were not drinking the rubbing alcohol, or that would have wiped me out. So
that's good.
We did wipe down the eyepieces between people viewing.
Yeah.
And we were wearing masks. We were masked up and tried to stay, step back away from the telescope when they came up. We didn't let them focus.
They didn't touch the telescope.
Yeah, so they weren't touching the telescope, only the eyepiece. And we had no trouble. It went really smoothly. Had some great conversations. People were mellow and real chill and asking great questions. It was a really good time. And they're talking about 3,000 to 5,000 people this year. This fall is what they're expecting, and ticket sales are going real well. So there was going to be a pretty good crowd there. It's a whole range of genre. The music was mostly bluegrass last time, but this is going to be country, bluegrass, some rock and roll, a whole mixture, newgrass, red dirt. It's going to be a very long mixture. And my understanding is the bands basically don't quit playing for 2 days. It's going to start Friday night and end Sunday morning at some unspoken early hour or late hour of the day.
It's like Woodstock or something, right?
It's going to be, or
with telescopes.
Yeah, with telescopes. And we're the headline act. I mean, he literally is using us as the headline act. So we have to show up. So if it rains, I guess we'll just go and enjoy the music. But
I just put up the link where they can go learn more about it. If you're, in the area, you're in Oklahoma or Missouri or Arkansas or, anywhere nearby, this might be something you want to do. We still recommend, using protocols, social distance as much as possible. I don't know what side of the fence people are on vaccinations, but I'm vaccinated. And, I think that a lot of the other people, in fact, I know most of the people here at Explore Scientific, if not all of us, are vaccinated. So that would certainly help in a situation like this, where you're going to be out with a group of people. So, but Chris Larson says, you're always the headline, Kent.
Thank you very much.
That's nice. That's nice.
No, literally, the organizer has said they didn't remember our names necessarily, but he said that they would come back and he'd hear that real tall, hairy guy, man. He was great with the telescope, and that guy with the big white mustache, man, he knows his stuff. And they didn't remember our names necessarily. But, both Tyler is pretty tall and pretty large and pretty hairy. And I do have a fairly distinct mustache. So, and he was just pleased beyond belief how well it was received by people who were there to listen to music, which goes hand in hand with what you and I have talked about for a couple of years, that music festivals and art festivals and astronomy go together hand in glove.
Yeah,
They're
they
not
do.
exclusive.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
Now, didn't we determine yesterday that Scott was going to play an instrument for us at the Stars and Sauce?
You guys determined that?
I think
Yes, that's right. I think he's going to wear his kilt and play the bagpipes.
Did you guys bring earplugs at all? Because it's gonna hurt.
I think we've got a month and a half to teach him the bagpipes.
Yes.
Bagpipe. Now, I think I could get into bagpipe for sure. I mean, that's a musical instrument for sure. Hey, I wanted to give a big shout out to Alan Stern and all of his collaborators for this new book called The Pluto System After New Horizons. This is a little bit of light reading here. Okay. The way it's organized is it's a series of, a collection of contributions all about, our favorite planet. So, a great reference. And, I think it's probably the definitive compilation of information about Pluto. So it's brand new. It's from the University of Arizona Press, Tucson. You can order it on Amazon. So I just arrived from Amazon today.
Did Caitlin get cited in there? I know she did a lot of work on Pluto.
I don't know. She might have been.
She was at the University of Arkansas. It's very
There's
possible.
a long list of people in here that contributed. So
yeah.
Yep.
All right.
And Harold just posted the latest information on COVID and COVID-19. Thank you, Harold. So let's switch over to, you have anything else you'd like to add, Annie, before we go over to Kent?
No, I'm perfectly fine.
Speechless.
No.
Well, I'm sorry. I was trying to, I'm trying to multitask and I was dealing with a customer. So
Oh, you were? Okay.
I'm
All right.
sorry. I just
That's
was
cool.
like, wait, just a minute.
Cool. I can't do that, so very cool. All right. That sounds great. Well, we'll switch over to, here, I'll play Kent's intro into this. I wish I had a song that went along with it, but it does have a jingle to it. So here we go.
After you master the bagpipes.
After I master the event, that's right. And we're back. So anyhow, Kent, you've been focused on the STEM items that explore scientific cells and STEM in general. I know that you're also a president of the Sugar Creek Astronomical Society, which is the local club around here. You have been involved with the Astronomical League for a long time. I think you were the editor of the Reflector at one point. And
For 4 years.
Yeah. And you're also with a group called NWA Space, which is trying to build a $60 million science museum here in Northwest Arkansas. So you've got your plate full here. Plus you're working here and you're up to your eyeballs in astronomy and telescopes and all of that fun stuff. So
and I umpire youth baseball too. So that keeps me
in your spare time.
In my spare time, that's right. So when people look at me and go, wait a minute, you're this science, optics, astronomy nerd, and you umpire baseball? And it's like, yeah, really weird being an athlete. And although I'm no measure an athlete, but being good, knowledgeable about baseball and knowing what a black hole is and event horizon and, the math for optics are not mutually exclusive. So, both sides of the fence are sort of amazed by that. So I don't know, it's just a weird combination, I guess. So, and I have said this before, I am blessed. Both of my hobbies, I get paid to do. I get paid to do sports optics and astronomy and binoculars. I get paid to umpire baseball. I get paid to go watch baseball. So I am blessed to have hobbies that pay me money. And I am truly appreciative of that blessing that I have. So as you said, we've been focusing on last week on STEM items. We have a pretty good range of STEM items. I'm using things that we have in stock because it does no good to talk about them and then people not go buy them. again, these are great birthday, Christmas present, happy Thanksgiving presents, Hanukkah, whatever, as well. So we're going to start out with something that's a great stocking stuffer. And it's only, I've got my cheat sheet typed up on the street. It's not $299. It's $2.99. And this little gem right here is an Explore One, Explore the Bug World magnifier habitat. This is the cool part. It has a flip up. So this little lid comes off, right? You can put a spider down in there.
Wow, nice spider.
This is my pet spider. I call him Plastic.
Plastic.
Yes. And after you get your plastic spider down in there, which it comes with plastic spider, it has a lid on it that is a 2-power, right?
Yeah.
And then see, there's plastic.
Okay.
And then it has a little.
There's another magnifying glass.
A 4-power magnifying glass.
Oh wow.
So you can catch
darn near a microscope.
It's a low power microscope is what it is. And has a really good view. Pretty cool little thing.
And it's $3?
$3.
Wow.
$3. So talk about
my daughter loved
stocking
those
stuff.
things.
Sir?
Yeah.
I'm gonna buy some.
Those things when she was younger. Yeah, those are awesome.
Yeah, kids that are into bugs and stuff. This is
What kid isn't into
way
bugs?
to go. We had the big one, the big yellow one last week that was for frogs and larger size critters.
Mm-hmm.
This one is a smaller one. Now moving along, that's the Explore One 2x 4x magnifier habitat. So now we're moving along up.
I want one right now.
Go
buy one right now.
Give me your credit card, Annie.
They're on the shelf, Annie. Go get one right now. So this is, let me see if I can make it show up. There we go. The Explore One Explorer set. So this is the little bug habitat.
Yeah.
A microscope, a magnifying glass. Some little bottles, a little whistle. And this is a great little thing for kids to go out for outdoors during the day for a day of adventure and discovery. So this is a pretty cool little kit right here. I'm sure parents will love the compass. Will love the whistle, which has a compass and a light on it. I'm sure you need to teach all your children to blow the whistle all the time in the house because that's how they learn to become musical people.
Yeah.
Right. Definitely. So this is for ages 3 and up. Actually that whistle is a survival tool. You teach a kid, if he gets lost in the woods, hug a tree and blow your whistle, and just keep doing that until somebody comes.
I bought like at one of the camping stores that's around here. And it, it had it was a first aid kit, had all this stuff, but it didn't have a whistle. It had a whistle, but not that good. Not as good as this one.
Yeah,
I want to know who survival wise, who that benefits.
The whistle?
Yes.
I don't know. It just makes you feel better, when you're lost out there in the wilderness.
I know, but the kid starts blowing it in the house. Do they start blowing it even harder when the parent tries to take it away?
It's practice. They have to practice.
Well, maybe there could be like 2 whistles, like the kid whistles and then you whistle and then it knows which way to go, like that.
That stuff actually doesn't bother me.
Buy 2.
That's
the price on that is $15.
Yeah, okay. It's cheap enough where you can buy 2, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Can you buy a whistle for $15?
Oh, I'm sure you can.
Really?
Yeah.
You think?
They make some, they make some real high powered, really, really high pierced pistols. Pistols.
Mm-hmm.
But this is I'm not going to take it out and blow it. I'm not going to do it. I should have gotten one just to have fun with it. But moving along, $14.99, $15. A great stocking stuffer for a 3, 5, 6, 7, 8-year-old who loves the outdoors. And the last one, which is one of my favorite things, toy, microscope sort of things that we sell, STEM stuff, is this right here, the Explore One.
Oh yeah.
20x microscope. Now notice that it has a light on top, right, and a stage here. So this is not like a microscope that shines light up from the bottom through a prepared slide. this is good for going out and looking at stuff you find. I would have loved to have had this as a kid, a teenager.
That's
to
the
take
real
with
deal.
me.
I mean, it's real
Well,
glass objectives and.
Yeah, it's $60, $59.99. It has glass objectives. It has
Glass
interpupillary distance adjustment, glass prisms, an on-off switch, a little bitty LED light to light things up. But let me show you a picture I took.
I would have loved to have that 10 years ago. Yeah, that's a nice one.
I'd love to have had it 45 years ago.
Yeah, 45.
You know, because all right, so here we go. So this is
great value.
You know, a little bee. This is a bumblebee. Now we collect up critters that we find in the parking lot and look at them, crickets and moths and ants and stuff like that. This is a bumblebee that we found.
Bumblebees were harmed in the making of this film, by the way.
This bumblebee expired under not our watch. We just
natural causes.
We just, found it. So let me see now. I had another by accident, closed it. So I'll have to go find it again. Of course, let's see. There it is. So I don't know how well this is going to show up, but we'll try this. So there, I just held my iPhone up and
live image or
no, this is a picture I took. Yeah. A picture I took looking through one of the eyepieces of that same bumblebee.
Yeah, but look how fine you can see, like the little furry hairs on it. And
the picture does not do it justice. It literally is amazing to see the detail, especially if you get it tipped up just right and look at the detail in the eye. You can see the different lenses and stuff, the compound lenses. Available right now, $60. I would have loved to have gone out in the woods with this thing in a backpack and looked at butterfly wings and acorns and leaves, rocks, whatever. So this is a different style of microscope than people think of. Like I said, it doesn't have light that comes up through a prepared slide. This is for just putting a specimen down on and taking a look. That's pretty cool deal. And we got a whole bunch more stuff. I'm going to do a few more next week to round out, and that'll finish that this series. But we got some other stuff as well. But Explore Scientific is much more than telescopes, and go-to systems. We have sports optics. We've got some pretty cool tents. Little kid tents. I'll feature one of those next week as well. We do a whole lot more stuff than just straight, high-end optics. So anyway.
Yep. So Mike Wiesner wanted to know, would that microscope be useful for repairing small items? I think if you had like maybe like watch parts or, these kinds of things. I would think so.
And what's cool is it's binocular. So you actually get you're getting the 3D, just like you're using both eyes. And so just like you get a 3D view with binoculars, you're going to get a 3D view with this. And in fact, Alex has one that's, higher end than this, but he uses it. Alex Sanchez, one of our engineers, he uses it to work on circuit boards and little bitty systems.
Yeah.
It's very worthwhile to have something like that. If you need to work on little parts, that's a great idea. Just like the little See It scope we talked about last week. I have a friend that uses it to go down into his engine and look for parts he drops. If you drop a bolt or it skitters off somewhere under the couch, you can find it with that. So
it's called a See It scope, but it's like an endoscope. I mean, it's on a flexible one, and you can run it, through a mouse hole, or you can go down inside of the cavities of an engine on a truck or a car, or all those places that you can't get your eye down to. This thing can see.
Yep, for sure. So, and that's but go to the website.
I want to say I
Go
want to
ahead.
I want to say that we do have some really amazing products. I have a 4-year-old and he is so excited to come here. I've had to bring him in on a Saturday to work, and he picks out a tent to hang out in, and
That's cool.
he loves it. He absolutely loves it, and he tells everybody about telescopes, and he's excited, and his knowledge of the sky is expanding. And so if you give kids the tools, they'll learn. They will learn.
Wait a minute, Annie, you brought him here to work? Did you
Yeah.
make him what, sweep the floors or what?
No, he sat in a play tent and played and watched.
Oh, while
YouTube.
you worked. I thought you
While
said
I
that you brought him here to work.
Yeah, no.
So I'm sharing my screen now. If you want to look at this stuff, it's real simple. Go to the top of the website on the home landing page, Adventure Gear, Explorer Hut, Galileo Scope, Kit, and STEM gear. And there's a list of all our STEM gear. And until you get down onto page 2, everything we have there is in stock and ready to go. So it's real simple. Kids gear, and there you go. So anyway, that's what I've got.
Okay.
So once again, the magnifier habitat jar, $2.99. The Explorer One Explorer set, $15. And the Explorer One 20X microscope, $60. All great kids gear. I would have just been excited to have all that stuff when I was a kid. You know, I just carried it around in my pocket and got home, and Mom always would check my pockets before doing laundry. And one time I showed up with a bunch of crickets and grasshoppers in my pocket.
Uh-oh.
She was anti-happy.
Anti-happy. Well, Ken, if we ever go on QVC with this stuff, I'm sending you to Westchester. So you did a great job. Thank you, man. Thank you. Okay. Next up is Cameron Gillis. Cameron has become a real regular on our programs. He's on at least twice a week with us, and it's a lot of fun. His methodology in covering thousands of objects across the sky is, well, it's contagious, really. And he makes it so interesting as he goes from object to object, both with his smartphone and on the star charts that he's looking at. But he shows you how to log in all your observations, so that you can go back and add on to your experiences as you learn more about the cosmos. So we will transition over to Cameron right now.
All right. Thanks for that, Scott. And it's a pleasure to be here on Camstronomy episode 11. So I share my screen. Let's dive right in. So this week we are going to go into Lyra. So continuing from last week, we were in Sagittarius, if you recall. And here's the list of objects that we've seen to date. And we ended up with the Little Gem Nebula, and which was a planetary in the northeastern quadrant of Sagittarius. And we're going to skip up to Lyra, and you can see kind of I'm trying to go from east to west. I have a lot of images for all the stuff over here, from Aquila, Sagitta, Valdecula, Cygnus, Lacerta, Cepheus, and Cassiopeia. And I was starting to get into Pegasus, Andromeda. So I have that, and I've been saving those in these Sky Survey image databases. And then what I'm doing is we are going to now, but we're going to start off. We're going to continue in Lyra. So kind of taking a step back here. Let me just put this in presentation mode. So to date, we still have the same observations, and we are now at 95 objects plus 5 today. We're going to have 14 new images. I have a combination of smartphone and astro camera, astronomy camera pictures. 5 objects in Lyra, and these are the objects. And but what I'm going to do before we go through that list, I just wanted to kind of give you an update on my catalog, and how I'm organizing all the pictures, and kind of my database of observations, and how that's all coming together. And then we'll go into the objects, and then I have a couple of learnings as we go through the images, and at the end I have some updates on the imaging setup, and also kind of optimizing calibration frames and what I've observed during my sky survey as far as limitations of live stacking. So I'm kind of as I'm going and building my imaging system and process, I'm learning how some of the limitations that we're going to run into as you go through that. So I wanted to share my learnings from that. So let's go into the catalog. So as I showed you here before, this is actually the list of the objects that we've explored together to date, which is 95. And then the 5 that we're going to do today makes it 100. So we're at our first 100. And if I go to the observing list, that's the sky survey explored 100 objects. I'm going to turn on best and brightest just for, which is the full list of 821 objects, just for the purposes of the survey. So you can see the full list here. And what I've done is I've exported all this, including my associated observations, in with Live Sky, which is part of Sky Safari. So you can export, and I've created, these are the observing lists, so booties, Libra, etc., all the different objects, all by name. And then I also have the associated observing logs, which is based on the date. So the date that I observed it, and then the associated object name, and then the description of my observation. So, if it was a galaxy oval patch, maybe there was a superimposed star, etc., distinct oval patch. So all those observations I've recorded and I've exported here. What I did is I took those two, and then I also have my best and brightest, which is a subcategory of the 821. And I did some pivot tables and merging, just to make sure I'm aligned with when we go into Sky Safari. If we go back to Sky Safari here, oops, sorry. When I look at these observing lists, and you have all the number of 821, 100, etc., and then all the booties, 55 objects, Libra 27. What I've done is I put that and I map that here as well. So that way, the advantage of that is I'm going to make, associated with this database, I'm going to make a PowerPoint, which is going to be the catalog, the Camstronomy Catalog. And it's in the same order, starting with booties, and all my images are going to be in there, including observations. So it's not complete, it's kind of work in progress. But for example, today I have Lyra, and I've shaded them because now that is complete. I will do updates on them. But what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to cross correlate this PowerPoint and the images with my observing lists, and I can put descriptions of all the objects underneath these, so to make the catalog more complete, combining smartphone images, astro camera images, and visual observations. And of course, that will be further extended in the future with looking through different instrumentation, not only just photographs or images using different instruments and different setups, but also different apertures of observation. So I want to ultimately make a kind of a condensed list to say, okay, given a night, if you have an 80 millimeter refractor, these are the objects that are the best objects to see based on my own personal observations and imaging. So that's the ultimate plan. So I'm kind of creating that structure, and I wanted to demonstrate that to everyone and show you that it's starting to come together, and that's where we are as far as the Camstronomy Catalog, if you will. And then ultimately, I'd like to post this on Explore Scientific's website, also on Sky Safari. There's an option to be able to download, and then that way anyone can access and follow along. But work in progress, so there's different stages. But I just wanted to show everyone how things are progressing there. So with that, let's dive in to the object. So we're going to start off. We ended up, like I said, with a little gem nebula in Sagittarius, and we're going to jump up to Lyra. So we're going to go to the galaxies. There's actually a couple of galaxies in Lyra. So if we go, zoom back out here, and we zoom into Lyra, there's NGC 6703 at the northern tip of Lyra. We zoom into that guy. This is the image of that. So I click on 6703. It's a magnitude 11.4 galaxy. But in the same field, you also have another one, which you can just see. This is a smartphone image that I took on in early July. And not bad. It actually shows on the smartphone. These are only 10-second exposures. All the smartphone images are the same. And the way you can tell it's a smartphone is that I'm using an eyepiece round field of view, which is this is the aperture of the eyepiece, or the field of view, the field stop diameter. And then you see I happen to pick up this fainter object 6702, and let's take a look at that guy. It's almost a full magnitude fainter, magnitude 12.2, but it's a smaller galaxy, so the surface brightness is enough that you can still eke it out here. So it's kind of nice. I love pairings where you have a string of stars, and you see multiple galaxies in the same field of view. It's a blast. So let's take a look at the specs of these guys. So 6703. If I take a look at the specs, it's 86 million light years away, magnitude 11.3. And if we go back to the other galaxy, 6702, and take a look at that guy. See, whoa, 220 million light years away. So that is really neat, you know, so almost 1.5 times further away. Pretty neat to be able to see that in the same field of view, and only 1 magnitude fainter, considering that distance. So it's probably a much larger galaxy, you know, but quite a bit further away. So if we look at the other images that I've taken, this is the updated with the imager. So on in June 20th. So what I did is I went through and I swept through with my new Astrocam. This is an earlier picture, so I didn't have the flats applied yet, so you can see the kind of the vignetting. But it's the similar field of view as the smartphone. And you can see it more distinct here. You can see the galaxy very clearly between these two stars. And then you can see the 6702 up here. So that's this is actually pretty close to what you'll see in an eyepiece. And that's actually what I'm going for with my imaging. I really want to kind of replicate what you can see visually. So that's kind of nice. And then I'll play with the stretching in the future. I'll get more calibrated, and I'll have a process involved where I know exactly how much I need to stretch and kind of automate that. And then I'll redo all these pictures with proper flats, minimum noise, make them nice. And then so you can really get what it looks through the eyepiece. That's the ultimate goal.
You know, last night we were looking at some of the fields you had, and I think we were all blown away by how many background galaxies you could count in some of your photos. You know, certainly, I mean, this is all done with the smartphone, right? So it was just pretty spectacular. But, you know, my own experience in looking through telescopes and stuff, I will concur that most of what you present is really what you see, you know, except when maybe there's a little bit of additional color, like that planetary that beautiful planetary you showed last night. So yeah.
Thanks. That's right, Scott. No,
if I could see that through a telescope, man, I would never look at anything else. So yeah.
Well, that's why I'm kind of addicted to this EAA thing, Scott. Like you say.
Yes.
When you can do that, and here's the neat part about that is you don't. I actually talk about keep looking up. I actually look up more with astro imaging than when I look through an eyepiece, because when you're looking through an eyepiece, you're really looking down, you're hunched over, you're always looking towards the ground, and that's what you're focusing on. But
you're talking about during the actual time you've got a telescope in front of you.
Yeah, when you got a telescope in front of you. So
Yeah.
when I was talking to you guys and we were doing the live, the imaging, and
Yeah.
I was sitting there and I was kind of looking back, and it was like, and then I can glance at my tablet, right? And it's a really nice, and then you can imagine in outreach events, right? You put it on a screen, right? A larger screen.
You can actually interact with the people that.
Yeah. So multiple
well, I
people
can't tell you how many times that I've been at a dark sky site, and I was looking down into my telescope, and in the periphery of my vision, I see a shadow of my telescope and myself hit the ground because a huge bolide had exploded behind us. So
Whoa.
right, and it's just like, gosh, if you had been. You're right. If I had been just kind of looking up, I probably would have seen more of those things. So. But
that's what's going to happen, Scott. I mean, I really believe that the era of of kind of red light, flashlight, and that is going to be changed and adapted to allow for different type of star party. Still, you'll need dark skies to be able to really get the best imaging, of course. But there'll be a new type of protocol, I think. For some of the outreach events where you can allow some light, but then obviously you have to put a dew shield to protect it from stray light, and you can get some good really good experience and just the overall flow and enjoyment, and also that you can talk to multiple people at once, the same object. It makes it very, very nice. So
it makes for a greater way to share it, that's for sure.
Yeah.
I would, but even you pointed out last night that, there is that aspect of having photons directly hit your eye, through an eyepiece, which is something that, really you can't replace, that feeling and that experience of that. But places like the Nebraska Star Party that we were talking about earlier, they have a place where astrophotographers go, and they've got their computer screens up and all the rest of it. They're trying to keep the ambient light down too, but it's not like where where you go to where Dobsonian Row is, where somebody's bites a Tootsie Roll or one of those candies, those hard peppermint candies that makes a spark in their mouth and everybody yells at you, so.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's like that. So I see star parties being kind of grouped off like that a little bit, and Nebraska Star Party is already kind of accommodating that sort of thing.
That's really cool. No, that's good insight and good context, Scott. Because I think both, like you say, there's no replacement. I mean, when I was a big Dob owner, and oh my gosh, like you say, there's having that fully sensitive, dark, adapted eye and looking through a galaxy and being able to see all the structure in it visually yourself. You just can't beat that. And there's no, and also the fact that you got, because of the aperture, you got pinpoint stars, like really, just gorgeous, and a nice iridescence, a little bit of diffraction rings on the brighter stars. There's no replacement. So you're right. It's kind of,
but you can't do this. You can't do what you're doing right now. And
that's right.
You're online with us. You're sharing your experience that you just did the night before, and you're giving us views that are really close to what the visual view is like, So.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm going for. Thanks, Scott. That's So and let's go on to double.
Hang on, Cameron. Real quick. I was just, that NGC 6702 is 220 million light years away.
Yes.
So 220 million years ago was the dawn of the age of the dinosaurs. The Triassic period was just starting. And Pangea, the supercontinent, had not broken up yet. So those photons, and I use this kind of thing at star parties, those photons that landed on your eye traveled 220 million light years.
Yes.
Unchanged by anything. And their destiny was to land on your eyeballs just then. Yes. And but yet Einstein's theory of relativity tells us that from the photon's point of view, it existed and then it didn't. And there was no time lapsed for it. But for us, it traveled for 220 million years. And now you have 220 million year old energy inside your body. And, that humbles me. It humbles a lot of people. Some people go, going down the road. So anyway,
it's kind of, on that note. I mean, really, it's like a time machine. You're looking, every time you're looking at a different object, you're looking at a different time, a different era. To your point, you're looking back at time, and it's really neat. And when you add those contexts, I love that. I mean, I recently was reflecting. There was I don't know. It wasn't the Orion Nebula, but one of the nebulae was 550 light years away or something like that, and which is the Renaissance, right? Period. And and you think we're going through a Renaissance again, right? Right now, and the golden age of astronomy, and also just in general with science and astronomy and discovering new things. It's just amazing. So being able to look at objects at that time period as well, it's kind of like makes you really appreciate, kind of connecting all the time together. It's really neat. So, but yeah, no, this is, so it's, 6702, and then 6703, the brighter one here is 87 million light years away. So really new compared to, to that. So let's go to now the double. Everyone loves the double in Lyra. So let's zoom back out. Oops. Go to my Sky Safari. See here. Here we go. So we're just going to go a little bit down, and the double, zoom right in here. It has a characteristic. It has this. They're a really neat pair because they're perpendicular to each other in their orientation. Right? They're exactly. Well, they're very, very similar in separation, 2.2 arc seconds. I said sub arc second last night, but I meant, it's 2.2 arc second separation. They're only 162 light years away. And, but it's really neat to be able to, this is always the classic, good test for any telescope to check the seeing conditions and that to say, okay, I can see clearly that these ones are this orientation and then the opposite perpendicular orientation for the other pair. So now imaging it is quite a different thing. I tried to do it with a smartphone, and that was the most success with just a single image. Now, the way to do this properly is you really need to do what they call lucky imaging. Do a video, take very short, super short frames. Christopher goes the guru, of course, with Jupiter and Saturn. But if you can use that similar technique, and I'll get there, but right now, this was just what could I do with a single snap? And 1/8 of a second, ISO 100 with my S8 smartphone, I was able to get that characteristic perpendicular two stars, and one clearly brighter than the other slightly. So that would be fun for photometry as well, to be able to measure the magnitudes of each portion of each pair, because there is clearly a difference between each pair, even though visually they look very close. So you need instrumentation to be able to kind of eke out that difference in magnitude. Looking at a smartphone, at an astro imager, you just don't have you'd have to do a video and a faster camera to be able to really get it out, because the stars really blow out in the adjacent pixels. So even when this is focused at seeing conditions, over 1 second, it just blurs the image and the star gets kind of a big mush. together, but you can see just slightly, this is more oblong, perpendicular to this oblong. So that was the main point there, but we'll work on it. Now moving on to the next object. Zoom back out here. This is really neat. This is an asterism. It's a kind of a cluster / asterism in Lyra. It's on the shoulder of Lyra, right here, and Stephenson 1. So Stephenson 1 is, it's pretty bright. Obviously you can see it with the naked eye, and with binoculars, it's a nice little comet because it has a couple of different color stars, 1.3 thousand light years away, little grouping. And this is a smartphone image, and it's a very pleasing object to look with binoculars or a wide field telescope because, it's often overlooked, but what's really nice is the different contrasting colors. You have clearly a very nice yellow star here on the corner. You start to see the color when you have more aperture, even with a binocular, and then you have a nice bright blue here, and then of course you have the grouping of stars which makes up the cluster itself. So this is a smartphone image, and then this is the my AstroCam image where I really stretched it to kind of make it all black, but it really shows the contrast in the star colors. The orange, which looks like it's a delta Lyra, and then delta 2, and then delta 1 Lyra is the blue star here. Now let's move to everyone's favorite, the Ring Nebula. Okay, so just the thing, the Ring Nebula is one of the first objects most people will find because it's, for star hopping, it's really easy to find. And, it's almost smack in the middle. It's a little bit off, about 60% towards this star here, but it's right between the two bottom stars of Lyra. And so even the great thing with a Dob, you can just point it and then kind of move around. And when you're with a Telerad, you can just get it in the general area, and it's like, yep, it usually pops into view pretty quickly. So very, very fun object to observe, and it has very, very high surface brightness. So the Ring Nebula, if I take a look at it, it's 1.4 thousand light years away, and it's quite large. It's over 1 arc minute in diameter, so good size. And this is a smartphone image that I took on July 7th. You can see I blew it out with these with my stretching here, but you can see clearly one thing you'll even see visually is two sides are quite a bit brighter. You clearly see the donut shape, the inside, and you see the fainter objects. The central star is not visible unless you have a larger scope. You need to have probably a 16-inch, maybe an 18-inch. I know I've seen it with my 18-inch. It's a 15th magnitude star, I think. So that's getting to the edge of the visual of the larger apertures. But photographically, I took this picture at f10 to get a little more magnification, and you can clearly see the central star and color and structure. Then I showed this last night, and I just want to point out this is kind of contrasting my astro imaging, my smartphone, with the Hubble image. And the main point of this is what kind of structure you can see. Like the Hubble image, obviously very impressive. You can see a lot of details, a lot of different texture, a lot of the Bach or the little I don't know what they're called, but the little discs, protoplanetary discs. That's what they are. They're on the edge here because of they're actually got hit by the ring of the expansion gas, kind of the shock wave. So you see some of that. But in the smartphone image and even the astro image, you can clearly see again the brighter edges on both of the opposite axes, and then you can see the fainter and the extension here to the, I guess it's the southeast part of the Ring Nebula, and then you can see you can see the central star, right? Even with a smartphone, when you blow it up, You can see it. This is just another image. And the orange outer ring and the yellowish inner ring, and then the kind of these striations. You can actually pick out a little bit of the structure in the middle, right here. Some of these little strips going through. So that's really fun to be able to pick that out. I mean, visually, you don't have it. You're going to see the basic. Without the color, and actually with a large aperture, you do start to see a little hint of color. By the way, on the outer edges, you do see a little bit of that orange, reddish on the outer ring. So this is actually what you'd see in a large aperture telescope. Something similar to that, but a little sharper, of course. It won't have all this noise. That's the beauty of imaging. Of visual is you're not going to have all that noise. Your eye and your brain filter all that out. It does all the stacking for you. So you have a cleaner image. But then if we go to the other nifty part about the Ring Nebula, which I've always, even in the early days of my observing time, there's some fainter galaxies in the same field of view. So if I turn on the magnitude limit here, and I pump it up to 18, you'll see two galaxies that pop into view right here. But we'll ignore the other ones. This one here, I see 1296. That one is into 15.3. And let's take a look at that guy. That's 260 million light years away. So it's kind of in the same range as the other one we saw earlier. It's magnitude 15. And then this guy, PGC 2024204, that one is magnitude 17.5. And it's off the charts as far as distance. I actually researched it and Googled it, and it doesn't say. So, anyone who can find that's a nice piece of trivia. So see how far it is. It's going to be super, super far away. So when I did the image, my astro image, I wanted to see if I can get those. And sure enough, when I blow it and stretch it out, this is an earlier image, so I'm going to get better at this. But you can actually see the spiral arms of this guy. It's a Bards galaxy.
Oh wow!
You can actually see the Bard structure. Yeah. And when I get a better image of it, you'll see it more. It's kind of nice. It's pretty little galaxy. This guy here is so far away; he's too faint, right? There's not much structure you can see, but you can clearly see at the end of this chain of stars, there's a nice little piece of fuzz, and that's this PGC galaxy. But yeah, it's an interesting field of view for an imaging challenge, to be able to see that wide range of magnitudes and distances all in a small field of view, less than half a degree. So now, last object, M56, if we zoom out here. Has a nice globular cluster. And this is neat. M56, you're looking through a lot of the Milky Way galaxy, so it's kind of washed out as far as surface brightness, but it's a really nice object. Nice globular. It's a little one of the fainter ones, a little bit, but it has really good modeling and good stars. And it's 31,000 light years. It's magnitude 8, but it's like I say, the Milky Way really kind of washes that out a little bit. So if you look at the actual image, this is a smartphone picture. Very tight core, but you can clearly see resolved stars across the core. And if we look at the my first astro image, this was a while ago in July 3rd, at native F10 without the focal reducer. So it has the big knitting. I haven't done flats at F10 yet. And you can see very clear, nice bright superimposed stars here, and but a very tight little globular cluster. But it's beautiful to look at visually. Here's an example where the images don't do it justice, because when you look through a wide field telescope and you're combing the Milky Way in this area, you can see the Milky Way. It's starting to get into the richer part. There's a huge, very rich star field. You get a little bit of a hint of it from here, quite a bit richer than the other pictures. But there's a very rich star field, so it's beautiful to see this globular cluster kind of suspended with all the rich stars around. So a great wide field object, again, probably with binoculars would be great too. So that's it from the exploring. And then I just wanted to end by saying that these were earlier images that I took, and I've been doing some calibration frames and such. And just to give you an idea, so I figured out the flats. We talked about that previously. So this is an example of a flat I've taken, and it's nice and clean, and it really pays off. So I got the flats down, but what I've learned.
So Cameron, real quick, how did you take that flat? Is that a piece of cloth in front, or what is that?
Yeah. Let me show you that. Give me a second. Let's see here. I took that with a piece of a pillowcase, actually, Kent. And so if I go back, probably a couple of these, maybe this one here, maybe episode 9. Let's take a look. Let's see here.
So you just stretched it over and shined it at a uniform, like a window or something, right?
Yeah, episode 9. So so here's what I started. Maybe just put it in the presentation. So I started off by not just pointing it at the ceiling and just putting a pillowcase over that. But what happens is that makes it, if you go back to this image, that makes this go way down. The curve, the light curve actually is too far low. So you're too down into the noise. So you actually have to pump it up to the mid-range of your gain of your amplifier of your imager. And so what I did is I put a white screen here. This is just my 27-inch flat screen monitor for my computer, and I put a white PowerPoint, just a blank white PowerPoint presentation, and then I layer you can see I've layered multiple pillowcases on the front of my telescope, and I point it within about an inch of that, so it keeps it nicely evenly illuminated. I make sure I stretch it tight so there's no wrinkles to cause some variations in brightness. That's important. And so you have a nice even flat field. And then the other bonus of doing this is you have you can adjust the exposure, of course, for when you take the picture, but you can also adjust the brightness of the screen, which gives you even finer granularity. So sometimes, for example, jumping from 1 second to 2 seconds is too much of a jump, so you overexpose. So you can adjust the brightness down or up to get exactly to that sweet spot and get yourself right where you want to be. So that's a technique, and I can tell you this works really well, and it's very reliable. It's pretty easy. The longest part of this process is actually stretching this piece of cloth and getting it flat. So I'm asked my wife, she's going to sew some spare pillowcases together on one side, and I can layer them, and then I can easily stretch it, and I have an easier way to deploy this mask, if you will, over top of the aperture of the telescope. So that's the hardest part, is just getting the number of layers and getting a nice piece of cloth that's even over your aperture.
The purpose in the layers is to negate the possibility of bright light coming between the threads. It's by increasing the layers, you create uniform light, correct?
Exactly. So what happens is, if you just have one layer and you take a picture, and I think I have a couple of them here. Let me go back to my calibration pics. Yeah, I think we can go through these guys. Just a good example. Yeah, so if I go...
you can see it in that last one. You can start seeing some...
Yeah, so you see how this number is changing. So this is 28,000, 25,000, and then if I go back here, 22,000. So to answer your question, if I have only one layer of pillowcases, it's going to be way to the right. This is going to be too far to the right. So you're going to have too much light coming into your point. So you start to layer and add more layers until you get this down to this 20, this in my case 24,000, because it goes up to 65,535. As you can see, this is the maximum, 65,535. You want to kind of be in just below the middle, and I'm playing with that. You can probably adjust this a little to the left, a little to the right. I've tried flats on the higher end, which is centering this more to the right, which would mean I'd have less pillowcases and more exposure, and so that's more light. And then when I add pillowcases and reduce the brightness of the screen, I move more to the left, and that gets you more to the noise. But there's pluses and minuses as you shift this over. So I'm still figuring that out, because you have to kind of, as you go through this, I've got pretty good, but every time I go out at night, it takes a while to go through the iterations and say, okay, I'm going to now take with this set of flats, or I'm going to take a pictures with this other set of flats, and then compare. So that process takes some time. So I'm going through that, and I will continue to share the results of that. But so far, I'm getting pretty good results at this range at 24,000 from the flat perspective. Where I'm running into issues, and what I wanted to share, kind of wrap up my session on this today, is the bias frames. So you have these. This is a dark frame. So if I go, here's a bias frame. Okay, so a dark frame, what it does is this is amp glow from that you get. So what you're trying to do with a dark flame is level out your floor, your noise floor, so to speak. So you're like, okay, this is, so if you have any amp glow, when you take a dark, that means there's no light coming into the telescope. You put the cover over your telescope. You turn your room off, all the lights off. Make sure there's no stray light. Or at nighttime, you can do it as well. Go outside with a different temperature. You can do that. But the main point is none of the optics should have any leaky light. The only light that's going to be biasing is your amplifier. That will level out your noise floor, so to speak. That's one piece. So the darks, those are pretty good. However, there's also this is bias frames. Bias frames, they're really, really short exposures. And what they do is there's a whole bunch, they'll be looking different every time you take them. And what it is these lines are caused, it's kind of like interlacing on your monitor. It's just noise, electronic noise caused by the amplifiers. And that causes strips. So if I look at some of my images, I just pop one up, for example. This is these are some of the bias frames. Yeah, so let's look at this Laguna. Nice picture. However, you see these stripes going across. So you can clearly see that's line noise, and that should be taking care of bias frames. Now, what I want to share in this episode, and what I was talking about last night with Scott and Caesar and Maxi, is that I'm doing all my stuff with live stacking. So you can see the field rotation here. This is a live stack, 10, I think it's 10 by 30 seconds. Okay, so 10 stacks. So the stacking makes it look really nice and pretty, and as far as the main nebulosity and all that, and gets rid of the main noise on where you have signal. But the line noise can only be taken rid of by bias frames. Now, when you do live stacking, the ASI Air Pro, the processor on it, I was just thinking about the logic here. The processor on these Raspberry Pi ASI Air Pro is not, it's not doing the stacking. It's not taking your 100 bias frames that you've taken and merging them all together and then taking them all out. That is where you pay some money and you get a really awesome thing like our favorite, what's it called? The PixInsight. PixInsight will let you take those bias frames. It will actually do all that averaging. And I believe if I take all those bias frames, reapplying them to the light frames of this image, that's stacked. I can actually get rid of all these stripes probably with PixInsight. I believe so. But that can only be done, and as we all know, post-processing takes some time. You have to let a very high-end machine take all those 30 plus megabyte flats or bias frames, merge them all to do all the calculations, all the averaging for you. So you can't do that in real time today. Ultimately, I want to get there. I misled myself thinking that I could do that, right? I say, oh, okay, I'm going to take 100 bias frames and I'm going to do the live stacking, and voila, I have a beautiful picture right away. I got there with flats. I basically take, even with the flats, I'm only taking one. Even though I've taken 20 flats, it's not averaging all those flats. I'm just taking one. I select one, and then that's what I get. So if I believe, and then this is what I'm going to test out, if I choose a different bias frame, I'm going to have lines in a different location. So that's another test I'm going to be doing. So once I've verified that, I think the only way you're going to get rid of all of these lines is with PixInsight and post-processing, which I'm a little bit reluctant to do at this point because that's a large, I don't have the extra time right now. I'm still working a day job. and so I need to, I will want to get there when I perfect the images, but I want to understand the limitations and then work within those and see if there's a way that perhaps what I can do is I can use PixInsight one time, average out those 100 bias frames, and then apply that as my reload it onto my ASI Air Pro, and then use that in my live stacking. So, more to come, but this is kind of where I'm at right now. So a lot of information, but just wanted to get everyone up to speed on where my head's at and my progress. So yeah, so that's it for this week, guys.
Great. Okay. Well, we have more for you tomorrow. We'll bring Annie on to keep us informed as well, and we expect what is it tomorrow? It's On the Wing with Dan George. And what are the birds that we're going to be looking at this time?
Reader submitted birds. We're looking at some quail,
okay,
a hawk,
awesome,
and some mourning doves. So it'll be all reader submitted birds this week.
Wonderful. We had a couple of comments as Cameron was talking about making flats. One of them is from Jeff Wise. He says you can make master bias flat and dark frames with a stacking program and use just those with the ASI Air.
Awesome. Thanks, Jeff. Jeff's been really helpful. Yes.
And John Barry says, great Cam, a true empirical scientist. Harold Locke says, thanks, Cameron. Great presentation. It's getting clearer in my mind. Wonderful.
Oh, that's great.
Yep.
Thanks.
All right, folks. Well, you guys have a great evening. Hope you have a wonderful dinner. If it's clear outside, hope you're looking up and you see something spectacular in the sky. Take care. And we'll see you tomorrow. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.
Cheers.